What time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, von Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, who wants a treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of your show. I'm your host, LB. This has become a permanent change, is what we've learned. I'm going to be taking over for Gary all the time now. No, I'm not. Gary is still sick. Whatever he has gotten him hard, and he is not feeling well enough to host. So that's how you know he's really sick, is when he doesn't just come and do it anyway. So, as always, we're going to start the show off with the greatest camera in the history of the entire internet, the Maggie Cam. One Dragon. There we go. All right, there we go. The Maggie Cam for our beautiful friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Mike and Rochelle over there taking good care of you. And if you're there after hours, Kirsten Shar or Chris. Maggie, again, hitting her mark today. She heard her name. And, so she hit her mark, just needed a little bit of encouragement to get in today. But she hit her mark just fine. And she even turned around, faced the camera. She knows what it is. And, she knows how to do it. So here, come here, Maggie. Maggie. Oh, I get my own Maggie camera. Maggie. There you go. She likes those treats. I'm pretty sure they're from Pet Planet. Anyway, so Tuesday edition of your show is always also a combination of the All Outta Angst podcast. And so we have the awesome crew by from All Outta Angst podcast, Matt from all the bands, and Uncle Mike with all his natural product. Unfortunately, Mike won't be in today. He had something going on personally, and so he won't be here, but Matt will be in today. But just off the top here, we're going to get it going with just a short montage that I put together. Ethan and I, if you watched show yesterday, you know that we have our viewing room podcast. You kind of saw what that was all about. And the new episode dropped today. And we always have fun on the show, and kind of, I like to goof around a lot at the intros. Usually we try and make the intros themed to the movie, or, just do something goofy. So, put together a little montage just showcasing some of the funny moments from the last, I guess, 6 months that we've been doing the show now. And also the story of these very awesome custom viewing room t-shirts. Wow, calling my own gift awesome. That's not a great look, but all right, take it away, Dragon.
Welcome to the viewing room, where we talk about film.
I can't poop in strange places. I can only poop in my home.
This is such an old bit. I'm so tired of this.
Watched by strange faces.
I'm so tired of it. Why do you find it so funny? Why do you find it so funny?
I've left Stewie alone with strangers. Satisfy my...
All right. Now that I successfully got us another copyright strike, we're good.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome to the viewing room, where we talk. We're gonna do a gift exchange.
Yes.
Do you want to do that now?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that now. You open yours first. I want you to open yours.
You gotta give it to me. I'm not gonna open the gift.
I just want to say how beautifully I wrapped this. That's right, I wrapped it, not my brother.
That is impressive. I have never been able to wrap anything that well.
And I wasn't able to until I asked my brother to wrap this for you. So here you go.
That seems like something your brother would be good at, actually.
Yeah, he's got the hands.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
And so we'll say what it is for our audio listeners too.
I see watch top movies. Yeah. Let's see what this is. Something about movies. I like how we both just like, oh, this is what we talked about. The top 100 movies poster. So we can hang it on the set and we can work our way through it.
Yeah, we talked about this in like
awesome.
September.
Yeah, that was old.
I bought it for you the day we talked about it, and
That
it came
is
the first week of
sweet.
November.
That is sweet. Okay, I want to see what movies are on it. Let's see.
So yeah, we'll explain. So this is a poster. It's a scratch-off poster. It has 100 movies to watch basically before you die, or like the 100 best movies of all time. And basically, you scratch them off as you watch them. So we had this idea where basically, you know, if we watch a movie that's on this list at the end of the episode, we could cross it off or whatever after we talked about it. Or Adam, it's yours. You can just keep it at home and scratch
No, we'll
everything
put it-
off as you want.
we'll put it on the set.
It's yours to do with it. That was just
We'll
an
put it
idea
on
we
the
had.
set for sure.
Oh, look at that, hey.
I wonder how many of these we can already
Wow.
scratch off.
Exactly. Well, I think Forrest Gump it must be on there, so
Yeah.
we could
other
instantly
side of
scratch that off here. I'll help you hold it up.
Oh yeah, Forrest Gump. I see it there. Fight Club's there as well.
Look at that. We did both of those. Look at that.
Schindler's List, Pulp Fiction,
Now-
Shawshank, of course, The Matrix.
yeah, that's awesome. And one of the cool things here too is each one of these things has like a little symbol that has to do with the movie. So when you cross off the
Oh.
Godfather, that's what it
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
little suit and tie thing, like Marlon
That
Brando's
is
thing, yeah.
sweet.
So yeah,
That is sweet. That is going on the set.
yeah, we'll have to figure out a place for that, and you know, at the end of every episode, we can scratch it off on the movie wall and be like,
That's
"Hey."
awesome. That is
There we go.
sweet. Thank you, my guy.
And hopefully, we'll have watched every single movie on there by the end of this show. Not this episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say by the end of this episode,
this is the Christmas
this is
special.
gonna
We're
be a
gonna
lot
review
of-
100 movies. Yeah.
All right, there you go.
I'm an open mind now.
Yep.
Okay.
I did. I took the easy route and went for a bag because
Oh,
I
boy.
suck.
That's awesome. No way. No way. Oh my God. And tell them what it is.
So I got custom viewing room T-shirts made. So it has the viewing room logo on the front. It has the damn logo on the back. It has our names on the sleeve, and it has a QR code that has since been broken on the other sleeve. So when I made them, it worked perfectly, and I was looking for a QR code site that was free, completely free.
Oh my God, that's
And
awesome.
and then like a day or two before they arrived, I got an email saying your free trial is expired, and it was like $60 a month to keep the QR code going. And I'm like, okay, that's not worth it. But the QR
Why
code
wasn't worth it?
Well, $60 a month.
That's awesome.
That's your like gift in perpetuity or something.
Well, for my birthday, we'll get the QR code. working.
Yeah, exactly. 1 month of the QR code working, but it used to go to the YouTube playlist for our show.
Wow.
And because you know, I made one for
No
myself too.
way! No way! Oh my God!
So we have matching t-shirts.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I got
Oh.
our names on them and everything. So
Wait, my name's on it too?
yeah.
That's awesome. My mom's gonna freak out when I come home with this. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
I like
my
how we both just got stuff for the show though.
Yeah, you know what, that's funny too, yeah. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. Where'd you make these on?
I don't even remember. One of the sites. It's a Canadian
That's the
company too, so
logo.
you know.
Oh, that's so awesome. Should I put mine on?
Yeah, let's do the episode in
Put
it.
mine on, yeah. Oh, that's so incredible, man. Thank you.
Wow, we're gonna get sparkles everywhere from this tissue paper. Gary, you can keep this. I don't want it back.
Welcome to the viewing room, where we talk about films new and old, local and global. You know, as much as I love it, I feel like we're gonna have to put your phone in a lockbox before these episodes.
What about my other phone?
Oh God.
Like it's interesting because you're like, oh, he doesn't want to go. That sucks. We feel for it. But then like with your own grandparents and for older people, their parents, trying to get them to move into a retirement home or a place with more care or something, and it's like you feel terrible, but like they need it.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like
I've been
was
trying to
this-
put Gary in a home for 3 years.
Before you die, there's something you should know about us, Ethan.
What?
I'm your father's brother's cousin's nephew's roommate.
Well, what does that make us?
Absolutely nothing. Want to replace you with Gary as co-host of the viewing room.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people-
A lot of films, they say, "Wow, what a great film! One of the best films."
I walk in and they say, I said, that's a great film. Wow,
But I walked into the theater and I said, "Wow, a lot of popcorn, not a lot of aliens," and that was really one of the big things because Elon was there and he said, "Not believable, not a lot of believableness, but one of the best movies." And I gotta say, that John Williams guy, what a great guy, by the way. He was one of the best, and he's still alive. I know, North Carolina, but wow, what a film.
That was just a little thing, just showcasing some of the funny moments from viewing room. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, feel free to check out more of the viewing room. Our latest episode was Groundhog Day, trying to get with the season. We recorded that one yesterday as a live Your Show and released it today as a viewing room because again Gary is sick, so that's why I am hosting. But one of the more exciting things we have going around here around Dufferin Ave Media Night, a lot more exciting than our movie review podcast, because whatever, is our audiobook. So our good friend John Fast wrote this book. It's called "You Can't Stop Love: Restoring the World to Sanity One Person at a Time." And it's a good book. I haven't read it fully yet, but I was editing the audiobook, so I've heard a lot of it, and it's really quite interesting. He basically takes the 12-step program rules and applies it to world leaders and just all the problems in our world and how using those basic steps, you can solve a lot of the world's problems. So it's a very interesting book, and we just finished recording the audiobook. The audiobook is not quite available yet, but if you want to pick up a physical copy of it, it's available on Amazon. So go check that out. So yeah, that's something new that we can do around the Dufferin Avenue Media Network here. And I'm gonna try and do like Gary, and I'm gonna get the right order on it this time. Last time I didn't get the right order for to do what he always does. So I have to go with the email first. There we go. So if you're an author or a community organization or anything, and you want to get in touch with us for advertising or for however we can help you, we do a lot of different things. So if you have any media related questions, feel free to reach out to us at contact@dufferinav.com, where you can reach us. And if that's too long for you, you can go to dufferinav.com. Just get rid of the contact. There we go. I nailed it. I nailed it this time. So yeah, dufferinav.com. And we have one more short little previously recorded segment for you. And this time you get to see a little bit of Gary in this episode. So we've been working or partnering with our good friends at 3 Hall to bring music events. And Bloom Entertainment, I believe, is involved in that as well. So here's another little interview with one of the musicians who's going to be playing at 3 Hall this weekend. So take it away, Dragon.
Our spotlight on local music, our journey, our quest to bring music back to not just Broadway, but this beautiful city of ours continues. And with that in mind, thanks to our friends over at 3 Hall, as well as our friends in Bloom Entertainment, we have another representative from another guest. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fabian from Out of Frequency. Welcome in, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Very, very excited to have you here. Now, you got in here a little bit early, which is a professional and a very good move. Unfortunately, around here, we have a live show we do from 4 to 5, Monday to Friday, and you walked in right in the middle of the live show, and I felt so bad because I didn't let you know, and I know our friend Kinger didn't let you know that that would be happening, so you came in and you're like, oh, sorry, and I was like, oh my God, don't talk too much, and I'm sorry if I scared you on the way in. I didn't want to alarm you.
No, it's all good.
But it's pretty cool to walk in though, right?
Yeah.
To see the magic happening
I
here?
was just like, what's going on here?
What is happening? So you guys got a big show February 8th over at 3 Hall, and it's a Telemiracle fundraiser, which I'm very excited for. Maybe tell us a little bit about the band and what you guys bring to the table as far as an experience goes with something like this.
Well, we've been playing for the last year as a group. We played about 40 shows last year when we were on another management team. We're with Lunar Music Saskatoon now. This is our first show coming back in the spotlight after our break in December. We spent 6 months getting into our cars every single weekend, playing shows after shows. I
love that. Getting the reps in, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Felt sorry for my drummer's wife. I was like, I'm sorry. But at
Ruining
the
the
same
relationship,
time,
yeah.
there was so much opportunity. We went in the Western Canada. We're still pushing through, and we're going to be releasing another album in September.
I love that. I love when bands get out there and just go. Like in this place, and you got a good taste of it here. We had our 200th episode yesterday, straight of live shows, Monday to Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. And each one of those shows, the reps, getting your reps in, just being focused, and every day going out there and, mastering your craft. There's so much to be said about that. And then, you have other bands that aren't fortunate enough sometimes to get reps in or this or that, but the value of getting out there and doing that.
Yeah.
It's immeasurable, right?
Yeah, just because like you walk into a new place, I'm shaking hands and I'm just meeting new connections. I'm a really
You're networking.
talkative person. I love networking, and it's cool. And then getting to see what people think because our sound is different than what you see on Spotify. It's crazy because sporadically we were a folk band, and then I hired my drummer and my bassist. We were all from the hardcore scene in 2010.
Hell yeah.
So when I hired them back, I was just like, this isn't going to be a folk band anymore. This turned into a punk rock experimental band.
Love it. I love when people just go after it. And I was talking with some people earlier and talking about not just the importance of reps, but the importance of not putting yourself in a box. The importance of saying, hey, I'm not just this type of music. I'm not this type of music. I can be anything. Like the importance of keeping yourself open to, I guess, grow and change and turn into something newer and better.
Oh yeah, and like my grandfather, he was a country musician. He always said keep your influences explored, like listen to everything. It always inspires you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so true. And,
And-
so good. I really appreciate that. So, real quick, again, February 8th, 3 Hall, that is where it's going down, the Telemiracle fundraiser. Let us know about where people can find your stuff. How can people get a hold of you? Take this time to promote you and your band, my friend.
Yeah. We just released our previous album called Enemies We Make and Lovers Left Behind. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube. Please check it out. We released music videos last year. We did some live videos as well. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Amazing. This is so good. Anything else you want to throw out there before we call it an interview, brother?
Thank you very much. You're going to be in for an extraordinary night. We thank you, and hopefully you can be there just to celebrate with us and all the other bands.
Yeah, and it's for a great cause. We say it all the time. Do good things, they'll happen to you. This is another way for you to do a good thing and support Telemiracle.
And we've been doing, we've actually done Telemiracle the last 2 years with me independently and then the band last year. We got some feedback from Telemiracle. They said that they were blown away by our sets, so I'm just excited.
It's right there. Fabian, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And I want to wish you best of luck on February 8th at 3 Hall.
Thank you very much.
Hey.
These are actually pretty. These smell pretty good. I might have to try some, Maggie. Anyway, we are back on the Tuesday edition of your show. This is also the All Out Angst episode. So, without further ado, we have our one half of the All Out Angst podcast here today. So, Matt from all the bands.
I believe it's actually 1/3 of All Out.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
true.
If we're gonna, I feel
One
like
half
you're-
of the important part, though.
This is true. Oh yeah, is that our first roast to Gary?
This
or-
leads perfectly into what
Okay.
we were just talking about.
Okay.
The roast of Gary Nickel.
Wow, I can't get over the smell of that cinnamon. These
Right?
treats are
Like,
amazing.
honestly, I kind of want to try it.
I do too, but honestly, I don't. As far as we've had bad luck on the show with people eating packaging
That's
peanuts
true.
and stuff.
There you go, Maggie. There you go. The reason I'm giving her a treat is because I was hoping she'd come back up, which she did. Which means we can hit to another. Oh, she's
Nope,
gone.
and she's gone.
People came in. So we'll have no Maggie cam right now. That's unfortunate.
Okay, yeah. So before we get into anything, I haven't checked out, or I don't even know if it's live. Your Groundhog Day.
Yes,
movie.
it was
Okay,
live this morning.
So, what was your guys' take? You like it? Hate it? Is it age?
Yeah, Ethan
drop-
Ethan liked it. What was your rating again? I can't. What was it? 8 out of 10. Right. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Ethan gave it an 8 out of 10.
Oh man,
So-
that's by far one of my favorite. Like, it would be a top 3 movie of all time.
You guys
for
are.
me.
You have somebody. What is it? Your uncle or someone's favorite movie? Yeah,
Yeah.
Ethan's uncle's favorite movie. I can't get over that. Like, it's a good movie. Like, I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again, but it's not.
There's a few like I do like that style, you know, where there's the replaying the day and you learn throughout it.
Yep.
But I like just the fact that like actual life is kind of like that, where like not with like fun stuff like this,
Yeah.
but like when you go into your job, it's always just you pull into the same spot and you're like, hey Jeff, how's your day? Yeah, good day.
Yeah.
Blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
And it does feel like
Yeah.
that. And then throughout the process of life, you learn things and you become a better person, and eventually you level up to the next level.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like less like that movie,
Right.
but it's this.
Yeah.
I like that premise. And I
Have you
don't know.
seen Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt?
I have not.
It's another one like that.
Aw,
It's
sweet.
except it's like sci-fi futuristic. But yeah, it's another one. If you like that style of movie,
Yeah.
definitely check that one out. Yeah, no, it's again, like I said, it's one of those things where like I really like it, but it wasn't like that standout to me. But I don't know. The other thing that we both commented on is how well of an asshole Bill Murray plays. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And every movie, whether it's Ghostbusters or whatever, he always plays an asshole character, and just makes you wonder if he's
Oh,
just an
yeah.
asshole in real
Oh,
life.
yeah.
Like
But I don't know. He seems like a nice guy. in real
I don't know.
life.
I
Yeah.
honestly haven't watched enough like non-movie stuff with him to really get a good vibe.
But yeah, I just like all of his like little comments or whatever, when he's like, they're like, hey, are you coming out tonight? And he's like, no, I'm probably just gonna stay at home and read Hustler or what? Like,
Yeah,
things
there's
like
the
that.
little
Yeah, just
snarky
the
comments.
little-
I don't have anything for you. Hi.
Or yeah, I know when he goes to, he's like at the bed and breakfast, and they're like, I don't supposed to have like an espresso or
Yeah,
know
yeah.
how to pronounce it or
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
Just
yeah,
lots
just
of those just like
little-
subtle jabs
yeah,
that are
yeah,
pretty funny.
exactly. Yeah, no, he's so good at that. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I was thinking the last time Mike was out with his car, trying to get it from Calgary or Edmonton or wherever it was coming back from, and we were gonna have to pivot on the All Out of Bank show, and I had written down a list of stuff. So I don't know if
Yeah, let's
so
do it.
basically,
You
it's
have more
this
planning than I do.
yeah, this is well, honestly, I was like on my desk, and I was like, hey, I haven't used these
Yeah,
ideas. We could
let's
do
do
that.
it.
So yeah, it's how I've pivoted in music or
Right.
whatever. So
Yeah, yeah.
I just things that we've made. So I guess I'll start with okay, when we were making video for our song Navigator's Choice. This again would probably be a decade ago or whatever, but the album was Systematic Eradication, and the front of it has this like robot dude or whatever, and so like we had grand ideas for the video, like it's a hockey shoot video, and we were gonna have this paper mache robot dude come out.
Yep.
His stomach was gonna open up, and there was gonna be beer, and it was gonna save the day or whatever.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
we spent probably, I don't know, 3 weeks working on the paper mache, and just like we looked at it before the video shoot. We're like, we wanted it to be cheesy, but this was like
This is
sad. It was
ultimate cheesy.
It was pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we can't.
Yeah.
So, and we were sponsored by like Great Western for this video. So like we needed to have beer in
Yeah.
the video at some point because it already been.
Yeah. And
so-
so you just film yourselves chugging beer.
Well, what we did, I think what we did at the start of the video, we're like pouring it into our water bottles or
Yeah.
whatever for like
Yeah.
the secret player that comes
Yeah,
and
yeah,
does
yeah.
a knuckle puck.
Yeah.
But we again the coach. We had it where the coach was just calling in for beer or whatever. But the night before, we'd had a party, and I think most of the beer got drank. So like we ended up just having to like tape the case together and make it look.
Yeah,
and there's like
right.
3 beers in there. But yeah, that was like the first one of like a make it work or having
Yeah,
to
right.
pivot to make
Right,
something
yeah, yeah.
work or whatever. Yeah. What else do we got? Just throughout. We've had 10 kajillion different drummers. We're
Yeah.
always
What is it's a Spinal Tap joke.
well, it is.
They just keep going through
it's
drummers.
So true. Like this year's actually Untimely Demise. It's our 25th anniversary of
that's
being
right.
in a band. So like you do anything long enough, and there's changes
Yeah.
or whatever and stuff.
Right.
But it's just like it's gotten pretty aggressive. Like at this point, it's like
Yeah.
different drummer every time.
Yeah.
But we were about to do a run of shows with a band called Act of Defiance. A couple of the members used to be in Megadeth, and so yeah, we were going to do the Western Canadian run with them, and we were going to get a drummer from Winnipeg. So we show up on Friday night, and there was like no rehearsal, and like we were playing the next day,
Yeah.
and so we had not played with this guy yet at all. So we were just at our guitarist place who lived in Winnipeg at the time, and we did a jam where like no amps, we're just playing along, and James was like drumming along
Yeah.
the whole time, and that was like our
Yeah.
our rehearsal before
You got
the
to do what you
show.
got to do.
And that's the same thing we did when we in 2019 when we played this festival in Hamburg, and we like at the time 2 members were in Edmonton, and then me and my brother are from Saskatoon.
What festival was it?
It's called Hell's Headbangers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I was
cool,
gonna
like,
say Hamburg. That's pretty close to Vakken. Like you didn't play Vakken, did you?
No. Well, it's funny when we were coming in because this was around that like within a week's period of Vakken, and
Yeah.
we showed up and we
Oh.
look like metalheads and we've got our gear, and everyone's like, "Oh man, you're here!" And then it's like, "Oh, we're just Untimely Demise. You want to go that way?
that
These
way
are the
for
real band."
Yeah.
But
That's- yeah.
That was the same thing where they put us up in this place or whatever, and again we're just acoustically playing, and Brian's like hitting against like the bed or
Yeah.
whatever and that was
Yeah, yeah.
the practice. But
Yeah.
just I wouldn't do that like starting off in our career, but like once you did it enough,
once
it's
you're-
enough.
yeah, right.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But I know there's been times where we did that before, and it almost you'd be better to just
Mhm.
not practice than like
That's an
you know-
interesting thing that I've always found. Like, and I mean, I'm a classically trained musician,
Yeah.
so most of my performances are all classical. And like, I always found that, especially when it came to piano, like classical piano performances, if I would go, most of the time that was at music festival, which is like a competition here
Yeah.
locally, and if I would go in and practice and warm up right before, I always tanked.
Yeah. Oh,
But
totally.
like if I'd warm up at home, like half an hour before I left, and then I go in and I would do it. And it's a weird thing, like if I haven't played a song in a year and I go try and relearn that song, I remember it better the first time that I go through it than when I start working on it right away.
So
And it's
true.
such I don't know what it is, but it's such a weird thing. Like you would think the more you work on it, the better you get. And I've thought about it a lot of the years, and I almost wonder if it's something to do with like when you play it multiple times in a short span, your brain just automatically goes into practice mode because that's what you've trained yourself to do. And like when you're in practice mode, it's okay to make mistakes. And like it's okay to make mistakes when you're performing, but it's a lot more okay when you're in practice mode,
Yeah, and
right?
and it's fine to make mistakes when you're playing, but just train wreck mistakes are
Right.
the ones you want to
Yes,
avoid. Those are the ones
exactly,
I always
right?
want to
Right.
avoid. But yeah, but I know for like marathon runners and stuff, they'll like practice before their race, and then they stop whatever a few days before and
Yeah, yeah.
get tapering before.
Yeah.
And I find it's kind of nice to do that with
Yeah.
music too, where you practice a bunch before and then just take a bit
Yeah.
of time off, and even just doing like breathing exercises or whatever to just.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the exact same way. Like right now, I'm going through the Into Eternity stuff. Tim's got 14 songs of progressive metal that range from their like acoustic songs to
Yeah.
a blend of acoustic and distorted
Yeah.
stuff, and so it's just like all over the place. And there'll be
Yeah.
situations too where the tempos can be
Yeah.
very slow or very
Yeah.
fast. So it's not like Untimely Demise is more like straightforward meat and potatoes thrash.
Yeah.
Like it's still got a lot to it, but it's got
Yeah.
less progressive
Yeah.
elements to it. So yeah, I was going through, and again, lots of the songs were great. Oh, I haven't played this in a while. It just ran through it perfectly. And then
Yeah.
there's the song's called Black Sea of Agony. I don't think we've played it probably for about 10 years or something. So I was like, all right, let's dip into it. And yeah, just right out of the gate, the first two chords I knew, and then everything else, I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't really remember much of this. And
Yeah.
I still haven't even made my way playing through it today, just because I was
Yeah.
like getting through it. And again, there's can be like a solo that's very like
Yeah.
Bach neoclassical,
Yeah.
but it's played at like a 220
Yeah.
BPM or something.
Yeah.
So like if you don't know it,
Yeah.
there's no just like winging
Right.
it. So,
Right.
but yeah, it's just weird how some songs they just came right
Yeah.
back, and then others,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, there was always a thing that Liszt, of course, super famous classical piano
Yeah.
player, that before he performed a song publicly, he would learn and forget it 7 times. That was always his thing. So we'd learn it, and then set it aside for however long, until he forgot it. And he'd learn it again, and like it's a thing. Like when you learn and forget something, you know it better. Every
That
time you do
man,
it, you know it
that's
better.
I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be a light bulb moment for me with
Yeah.
certain things.
It's such a weird thing, and I mean, I've noticed that too. When I perform a song, and then 3 years later I bring it back, it's like it clicks
Yeah,
better.
because there was one again. There's another song called "Black Sea of Agony," and again, I don't think we've played that one at least in like 5 or 6
Yeah.
years or whatever. And that one just everything,
Yeah.
even before the harmonized solo came in, I was like, okay, don't think about it. And I
Yeah.
went into the first note, it was good, and then it just started playing, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
sweet, it was
right.
all there. But that was one where I know I did put a lot more work
Mhm.
into it, and I like again with something like wood, where you pour water on it and it dries, and it
Yeah.
eventually gets more saturated.
Yeah.
That's the same
Right,
thing that we're
that's
trying
yeah.
to do with our brains.
Yeah,
But
yeah, exactly.
I legit think I might start doing that with songs, like learn them,
Learn,
put them
forget
aside,
it, learn it, forget
and
it. Yeah, it's a thing, but when you start doing it, it really helps. Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I guess moving. Oh, so one thing with bands, and especially like DIY bands like us, you get to a venue, and you don't know what it's going to be like, and
Yeah.
you always want to set up your merch table because that's kind of your bread and butter. Often with a band like Untimely Demise, our guarantees will barely cover the gas, so you need that merch
Yeah.
to make a go
To
of
make
it.
money, yeah.
And if the merch table looks like a podunk, like lemonade stand with a backward,
Yeah.
the D or whatever, well, some people might take pity on
Yeah.
you and buy some, but generally people avoid it like
Yeah.
the plague. Like you want it to look like a merch table. So certain things you always want to have light flashing on it. You want to have your shirts and stuff
Yeah.
displayed. You don't just want them on the table because
Yeah.
it can be hidden away.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like that's another just make it work thing where sometimes you don't have anything and you like look around, you'll like go to the coat check, take a few hangers, and then like see there's like a piece of tape here, and you end up making a pretty decent little merch
Yeah.
table out of.
Make sure you have either an ATM that works nearby or a debit like credit, like a little
Yeah.
tap, like one of those squares or something.
Yeah, that's one thing I would like to get. But I guess the last few shows we played, the striker ones, that was Alberta, and I didn't have one.
Yeah.
Like and everyone said, "Well, do you do e-transfer?" I was like, could.
Yeah, right.
And then I think the Calgary show, we probably did more money e-transfer than cash
Yeah.
that day. And
Well, like that was the thing. I went to the Skid Row Buck Cherry concert when they were here in
Yeah.
town. I guess that was a year ago now, and like we went to the merch table because get a
Yeah.
T-shirt or something, and they couldn't do debit. Credit would work, but debit wouldn't work. And we're like, okay, well, we'll go get ATM and go to the ATM because of course I didn't have a credit card. Go to the ATM.
Yeah.
ATM doesn't work. Go to a different ATM. ATM doesn't work. No, can't get a shirt.
Well, and
I was like,
that sucks. Like this Stevie Nicks show that we went to, we had that issue where we got there and we were planning on like we're big fans. We
Yeah.
like Fleetwood Mac, but we love Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
It's like her solo stuff.
Yeah.
So we're like we wanted sweatshirts, hoodies, all the stuff,
Yeah.
and we loaded it up, and then your card wouldn't work, and then I don't know if my debit or Aaron's card didn't work, so then we had to bust out mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, luckily it worked. But we would have been like really choked if we didn't get
Yeah.
merch. Like
What was it?
we flew to Minneapolis to see this show.
Well, and this was like my first like concert that I like really wanted to a band like that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wanted to get a shirt. It's kind of and like I looked online, and they didn't have the concert or the tour T-shirts available online. These were only ones that I could find in person. So it was what it was.
So that's one thing. Okay, again, I always want to draw the difference. I'm an old ball. You guys are young kids. In my day, having the concert dates on the back was like the cool. Like if you just
Yeah.
had a normal shirt, kind of lame. You got the concert dates.
Yeah.
It's badass. Is that still a thing?
I mean,
or
personally, I like when when you see somebody wearing a concert T-shirt and has the dates on the back, because I like to know when somebody was here, right? Like
Yeah.
if it was Metallica, I'm like, well, I didn't know they were here then, like or whatever. Which that's part of the reason I like it, but yeah,
Yeah, so
it also helps you remember when it was.
Well, exactly.
Can't
But
remember.
it like would that be a thing as much as it was then?
I
now,
don't
or-
know. I mean, like I said, I would, but I
I
don't.
would think.
I don't know. I don't see why not.
Okay, if
You-
Dragon thinks
Dragon
it's
thinks cool.
cool,
There we go.
then that's all.
We all bow
that's
down
all
to
I
Dragon.
need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess another kind of dealing with it, making it work thing. Again, this is all because Gary's sick and Mike isn't here
Yes.
today, so that
Yeah,
I
no,
feel like
this is
the,
good.
The theme is we're making it
Making
work.
it work,
and,
yeah.
the show must
Right.
go on. So the last Manitoba Metal Fest we were at, for some reason, and I don't know if it's the grounding in the venue we were at, but I've got like a noise suppressor, so when you're playing into stuff, there'll be like quick, kind of guitar thing, and you want it to just be completely silent.
Yeah.
But my guitar was getting a bunch of hum, and it would be
Yeah.
and it was like to the point where I was like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. So I think in the end, I ended up borrowing a head off of Mike Manza, who's going to be playing an Untimely Demise
Yeah.
for our next show. And it still wasn't perfect. So every time we would do, I would have to step on the switch to make it like the
Oh,
clean,
yeah,
like
yeah.
go from distorted to
Yeah.
clean. But it was like quite a,
Yeah.
when you practice a song, that's fine. But now every time you're doing it, you're stomping and then you got to stomp it
Yeah.
back. It was like, those are the
Yeah.
things that
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
but
Right.
yeah, ended up getting through it, and I that was one of the ones where it's like, oh sweet, I'm so glad because music has a way, or live performance in general, it can be like amazing where it's just playing itself, or it becomes to the point where you're like, I want to get the hell
Yep.
off stage. I just
Every
get through
performer
it.
has
Yeah.
has their stories of failure on
Oh,
stage, and
man.
you just hope that it doesn't happen, and
Yeah.
you do everything you can. But
Well, I'm cool with it because at this point I've had so many that at least I'll be able to write a book or something, and then Gary can put it out on audio.
yeah, we can do an audio
Yeah,
audio
exactly.
format. Yeah.
No, people don't want to hear that.
Well, no, and I mean, like for me, like especially again, like I do mostly competition performing, and so it's like if you screw up, like you're done, right? Like
And
like
that's the thing too. Like again, say you flub a note or whatever, and then that gets in your head,
Yeah.
like because you're actually
it so gets in
you're
your head.
being critiqued
Yeah.
by professionals, and
Yep.
and I don't imagine you're looking, but you can hear the like pen scratching,
Yeah.
when you miss the
Well,
note, and you're
and-
just like, ah,
And that's like the other thing though is like when that if it's a solo performance like for piano, if you miss a note, it doesn't really matter. I mean, piano adjudicators like to nitpick every single note; that's their thing. But it doesn't really matter. But what's worse is like I mostly do vocal like classical voice performances now, and so my mom is accompanying me, And so like there's been times where, like I've skipped the whole verse. Like I skipped I brain fart. I go
Yeah.
to the third verse instead of the second verse, and then she might know, but I sing a lot of like German, Italian, other languages, and she doesn't
Of course
speak
you
those.
do.
Right. But then she's like, I don't know what verse you're on, and so like sometimes like I mean that now there is interludes, so if I just stop singing or something, then it's okay, all right, we're going to this.
Yeah.
But there have been some pretty shaky ones, and that's one thing that another thing that is very important is the connection between like you were saying, well, you're always having a new drummer, so like those rehearsals are important. Like so, from like my mom and I, when this was during COVID, and we were going to be doing a musical theater festival, and it was like a week before the performance or 2 weeks before the performance, and my mom got COVID, and this was like I think still 2021, so it wasn't like we were still in the midst of like masks and lockdown and the
Yeah.
restrictions
Were you
and
having
everything.
to do tests or just
It was
vaccinated?
test, and everything
Yeah.
still like it,
Jeez.
and yeah, so it was like for the full like week before the performance, we didn't rehearse because we couldn't. Like she made me some recordings, so I'm going with the recording, but it's not the
it's
same,
not the
right?
same because if there is like a flub or
Yeah.
whatever, and then you guys get back together, that's the
Mhm.
stuff that you want to work on.
Well, and I mean, like it worked out in the end. Like like I said, that's where I was glad it was mom because we rehearsed together, we learned the songs together, so we just know, right?
Yeah.
We just we're
And
together
you would
so
have
well.
the connection just like you
Exactly.
guys
Right.
share DNA.
We have that connection, but if it had been somebody I didn't know, just all of a sudden you're performing together, like that's the thing that people don't realize is there's so much like 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 little details that go into it, little push and pull and whatever that if you don't know it together at the same time, then it
Well,
doesn't sound good.
and that's you're totally right with the when you're playing with someone and either one of you go ahead a
Mhm.
verse or somebody goes into a part that they
Yep.
shouldn't have, and then it's how do you get back
Right.
and like who's the lead, who do you follow, who's the
Yeah.
leader? Because I this reminds me that same that 2019 Hamburg show
Yeah.
that we practiced.
Yeah.
There was the very last song we were doing. It goes into the final verse, and Brian had went into. He just started doing like a thrash beat, which
Yeah.
isn't the beat. Or I remember singing, kind of going with it, and then like trying to look and figure out does he even know that he
Yeah.
messed up? Can he hear himself? And
Yeah.
he's just like. And we ended up getting. I think the second time through, he just brought it down to the normal. But that was one of the ones where it's like I'm glad that we had played together.
Yeah.
Like he's the number one untimely demise drummer. Like he's
Mhm.
been with us now for over a decade, and he's the drummer I've played with the most. He's played Into Eternity with me, so,
Yeah.
and I've just played with him a lot. So like
Right.
I'm glad that it was Brian there where we had that mistake and we were able to get through it. And I know we even watched the video after, and if you didn't know the song like us, you would probably
Yeah.
not even have noticed
Right,
that it
yeah.
was a thing. But yeah, those are the crazy
Yeah.
the crazy ones.
Yeah. Have you ever had to stop stop a performance?
Yes, last Manitoba Metal Fest, I said we did a whole show on it, but I was like, it was probably the worst Untimely Demises ever played. It was a sold out show. We're playing with all these bands that we respect. 3 Inches of Blood had just got back,
Yeah.
and basically Brian's vehicle had broke down on the way out. Again, we were just all meeting up in Winnipeg, and we didn't even know if he was going to make it. And we actually flirted with the idea because we've had 2 Winnipeg drummers, the guy that was promoting the show and the band that was just before us or just after us. We've played with them, so we're like,
Yeah.
we could probably get like a 4-song set together,
Yeah.
if he couldn't make it. But Brian ended up making it as we were doing our sound check. He showed up with his
Yeah.
drums and like came in. So he was like already flustered because
Right.
his vehicle like is totaled, like the engine was shot. So he's thinking about that.
Yeah.
And he just got here, and then Brian's one of those guys. He wears gun muffs when he drums, which
Yeah.
is awesome. But when you're like live performance, it would be nice like if he had like something piped in so we could hear it. So
Right.
like because and he also plays with a marching snare as his go-to snare, which is sometimes a bit much for the clubs we play. It's like pretty loud.
Yeah.
So I guess he couldn't hear himself. He was rattled, and the first song he just I don't even remember because at this point I just went into a fugue
Yeah.
state. But I remember we just had to stop and start over again. And again, like that was one of the shows where it's the worst we ever played, and I think it was the most merch we ever sold in Winnipeg. It's just funny how those
Yeah.
things work out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely have had to stop, and
Yeah.
I don't like it, and I
No,
hope that never
it's
happens again.
no. I had one when it was again at music festival. I think it was even that same year,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was a musical theater song. It was called Dust and Ashes, um, and like the opening is like a couple different lines repeated, and like it's just random things like,
Yeah.
"Is this how I die? Wearing clown shoes," but just random words
Yeah.
like that. Like, and I got stuck in a loop because it's the same melody and over and over again with different words, and I couldn't remember the words, and so I was just doing the same words over and over
Yeah.
again, and I after like the half a dozenth time, I'm like, okay, I'm not getting back on track. This is
So
this is stupid. So I just stopped it, went and got a drink, and went and back and did it, and I still screwed up. We kept going that
Yeah.
time, but
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, that's when you have to make that decision.
Yeah.
If you're like,
And it's the most like embarrassing thing ever because everybody just is silent because it's like, what's going on?
And I
like,
think the crowd gets like anxious too
Oh, yeah.
because they're like, come on,
well,
you got
yeah,
this.
they
and
want
then-
you to succeed,
yeah,
right?
And
like,
then you don't got this.
yeah, yeah, it's
Oh,
not,
man.
it's not good.
Oh.
It's not good, but no,
Oh man.
yeah,
I forget where I was gonna go. Honestly, this is very triggering for me.
yeah, right. It's not good memories. I shouldn't have brought that up, but
Yeah.
Oh.
I get- oh yeah, and another thing I was thinking for like catastrophic, like obviously forgetting things or people going the wrong.
yeah,
One for me, the thing I hate the most. So say we're playing a bunch of distorted stuff, and
Yeah.
then there's like a clean part where it's just my guitar.
Yeah.
And with Into Eternity, we play in C standard, so that's 2 full steps lower than like most guitars
Yeah.
or E standard or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's quite a bit lower, and the strings tend to be a little bit looser.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you're playing acoustic stuff, you got to make sure to not like pull down on on the
Right.
strings or whatever. But I know I've had times in the past where I'll go into a part in the song Surrounded by Night where it's just my acoustic guitar and it sets up for about 3 measures. And if the guitar's out of tune at all or something,
Yeah.
like, say like the B note's out or something, and then you're playing it and it just sounds bad, but you have to keep playing because
Yeah.
like the song's going.
Yeah,
and
right.
Everyone's looking at you and you're playing. Those are definitely but there's nothing you can do in a
No.
situation like
No.
barring like trying to like bend the note
Yeah.
up to do it. But
Yeah. Have you seen that video of Stevie Ray Vaughan changing his guitar after he has a string break? He's performing and his string breaks and he finishes a solo just without that string because of course he's
Yeah.
a god. And then he obviously they practiced it a bunch of times. His guitar engineer or whatever comes out, he takes it off, like he undoes the strap, and like the guy just puts the guitar in front of him. He starts playing again,
Yeah.
and this guy does up the straps and everything for him. It's like the smoothest thing ever. Actually, if I send you the video, you think you can pull out and play it? I'll send it.
Yeah,
I'll send
that
it.
is
I'll find it and we
frickin'
can play it.
sweet.
It's just, I mean, he was a legend.
Well,
Like,
when we were in Minneapolis, we wanted to check out like some club shows, and
Right.
we ended up at the time. Aaron looked like what shows are playing. There's this bass god called Victor Wooten. He's like
Yep.
he's like one of the greatest bass players ever, and him and his brother's band were playing that night, and he did for his bass solo. Obviously, he did slap
Yep.
and a bunch of stuff, but then he went to a point where he was just playing and switched every tuning head so the
Yeah,
guitar
yeah.
was completely out of whack in every sense of the way, and like made music and eventually like tuned it back up whilst doing a solo, and it was
Right,
like the
yeah, yeah.
craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, okay, here, I'm just gonna get this sent off. Okay, it's sent. Let me know when when you have it ready here. But no, it's like, I mean, yeah.
And then yeah, I guess
All right.
we want to keep moving.
Yeah, let's keep
forward.
going through this.
So yeah, Band Into Eternity that I play in now, before my time, they were playing on some pretty amazing tours. Like they were played on Gigantour
Yep.
that was opening up for Megadeth
Yep.
and all like Dream Theater and a bunch of great bands.
Right.
And the guitar player that I play his position now, I think he was like dating someone, and they didn't want him to leave. So halfway through the tour, he just ended up getting a flight home and like left
Yeah.
them. And this is like one of the first times into was like as a bus, and like they're getting all the cool stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
anyways, he left, and they were forced to just play as a 4-piece for the rest of the tour because they're like you
Yeah.
got contractual obligations, and why would you want to like forego
Right, you're on a
playing
tour.
with Megadeth? But yeah, there's a DVD that came out at the time when they put
Yeah.
DVDs out for concerts, and yeah, you'll see that they're playing as a 4-piece. But I just have so much respect for them that because
Yeah.
Into's a band, it's really nice to have the 5 members
Yeah.
because there's just so many like there'll be like the main chords, but then there's like a melody on
Yeah, yeah.
top. And you
Yeah.
take that melody out, it sounds
Mhm.
pretty thin.
Yeah, so like a rhythm and lead kind of, or
Yeah, well, it's rhythm and leads, and there'll be times where there's like acoustic stuff playing,
Oh,
but
I
then
see.
there could be like distorted chords, or yeah, there can be distorted rhythms with a lead playing
Right.
over top, and then
Okay.
everyone sings too, so you take out an additional singer that it all thins it out in the end.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, we're talking about you practiced and you're used to the cues of you might hear this guitar riff before you go into that specific
Yeah.
change. Now
Yeah.
you're playing in front of arenas and you don't have those cues. And
Yeah.
again, with arena shows, I haven't played too many big, like I've never played an arena show, but I haven't played that many like where you've got huge stages. But
Yeah.
in general, sound can be quite bad. Like you might only have your monitor
Yeah.
mix, and say you step away from the monitors, then you might only just hear drums or
Right.
bass or whatever. So
Right.
it's nice to have the cues and
Yeah.
yeah, just be on
Right.
autopilot.
Right. Yeah. Ready? Okay, let's play it. Yeah, so he's soloing, as he does, and then.
Yeah, that's so fun.
There, you can see it right there. Finishes the solo without that. Alright. Immediately after off, the guitar's there. He just starts going. Then and go.
And already just on the down,
Yeah.
straight in there. Oh my goodness.
It's just so smooth.
Noel and all of my buddies, looked up to him. I was like more of a punk guy
Right,
for my,
right.
so I wasn't into that stuff as much. But now with my diming, which I'm not like, I like to learn, something
Right.
that I'm not good at, every day
Yeah.
or whatever. So I've been his style. It's like a Texas shuffle, where you'll
Yeah.
you're always
Yeah, it's like-
raking the top
yeah,
strings
yeah.
or whatever. But I like that type of stuff. And
Yeah.
the one song I want to learn at some point, it's called Lenny or whatever, but
Okay.
it's got like Jimi Hendrix
Yeah.
vibes or whatever. It's kind of just going back and forth between
Yeah.
two chords, and then he like noodles,
Yeah.
like pentatonic noodles.
Definitely,
in between, but
Pride and Joy is my favorite by far.
oh, it's a great.
It's just so
Check
good.
out the song Lenny.
I
Like,
will.
It's
I will,
it's
for sure.
fantastic.
I will. Yeah.
But Pride and Joy. Come on.
Yeah, you can't beat it. But yeah. All right. Do you have any more on there? or-
I do, but I don't. Do we want to roast Gary?
Do
or
we want to roast Gary? I mean, I want to,
I
but
just don't know if I
it-
got any good roasts.
that's the thing. It's like it.
I just he's too nice. I
That's
don't
the thing.
know.
He's so hard to roast in a way.
Yeah. Coming here. I was like, yo, to Aaron. I was like, oh yeah, I'll roast him good. And
Yeah.
then as
I just feel like I don't have any creative insults. Like
No.
like to do a proper like roast, like you gotta like really think about it and come up with some good ones, and like it's gotta flow together. And I don't feel like I have the time to. I've had the time. to
yeah,
come
and
up with a
I
good
just
one.
don't want to kick him while he's down. So
Sure.
never mind. I take it back. I'm a pussy.
Well, yeah, we're getting booed now. Yeah. Well, you mentioned something interesting there, like as you're older, you're getting into more like different styles of music.
Well, yeah, especially because when I was younger, I was like, I don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. I just want to
Yep.
be a master at heavy metal
Right.
and shred guitar.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of like, in my mind, that's a waste of practice time if you're gonna
Yeah.
be putting it into whatever. And now like the things I really like, anything that I'm not good at. So like country chicken picking, where you'll like down up and then you kind of use
Right.
that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, or bluegrass, things where you're just kind of
Yeah.
just getting into a groove and lots of pull offs and
Yeah, yeah.
hammer slides, and then Stevie Ray Vaughan, like Texas shuffle stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
just anything where, because guitar's like 100 instruments, depending
Yeah.
on if you're playing folk or
Yeah.
this or that. So
Yeah.
I like getting humbled where you can pick up the guitar. I've been playing for
Yeah.
over 25 years. I don't even know how. I don't even want to think how long I've been playing, but it's been a long time,
Yeah, yeah.
and I like how you can try and attack a new style. Say it's like flamenco classical or something, and you immediately look like a beginner. And it's just, I love
right?
that it's such a humbling
Yeah.
instrument. And
Well, that's one thing I always was told about the piano as well. Like it can be anything. Like
Yeah.
it just depending on how you touch it, how you play, like everything. You have so much flexibility within the guitar. Yeah, like it is very much like that too. So
I
I
know,
don't know.
like, well, yeah, it's not piano, but organ, like Bob Marley, like he wasn't really like quote unquote like musician, like
Yeah.
train, but he had these rhythms and he would say that's how you
Yeah.
do it, and he would just like play a rhythm on the chord, and that
Yeah.
kind of became the style of reggae.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just cool how like someone with that kind of thinking out of the box mentality can just be an instrument and then
Yeah.
do something that
Yeah.
is not right, and
Right.
that's why again I'm of two things, like people say, like don't learn theory because then it makes rules. Well, that's BS.
No,
Like,
theory is the foundation of
yeah,
how it all
you need
works.
to know it, but it is nice to not be so confined with it.
Yeah.
Like understand you can break the rules.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. Like I always find like I've had this kind of argument with my mom before, because of course she's like 100% like classical all the way, and then of course my dad is a metalhead, right? And
Yeah.
so I've been like raised with like a weird like hybrid of both, like learning classical music but listening mostly to metal and rock and all those kinds of
Yeah.
things. But like you hear when somebody takes classical music and metalizes it, or vice versa. Like when you hear like Sabaton has released one of my favorite metal bands, Swedish metal band.
Yeah.
They've released 2 symphonic albums, which are like symphonic adaptations of their songs, and it's so good. And like I've always had this argument with my mom, because she says I remember one time my dad and I, we were like, Bach and all those guys, they would have been metalheads if they'd been alive today. They totally would have
Yeah.
been. And she's like, no, they wouldn't. And we're like, yeah, they would. Like, you listen to like any of their music and like a metal version, or you take metal songs and make it classical, they're like one and the same.
Yngwie Malmsteen, one of the
He's
great
amazing.
shredders, and his style, he does these like pedal notes where he
Yeah.
goes back or whatever, and he cites that this 100%
Yeah.
ripping off Bach, and
Yeah.
that's like the majority of his style
Yeah.
uses that type of thing.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even one of Sabaton's songs, the Red Baron, it opens with a Bach. I think it's a 2-part invention, and like it's literally just that with on a keyboard instead of a piano.
Yeah.
And it fits so well.
Oh,
It just
yeah, you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
One band, Ex Mortis from California, they're great, kind of along our lines, neoclassical thrash
Yeah.
shredding or whatever, but they do Beethoven's Moonlight
Yeah.
Sonata, and it's just fantastic
Right.
how perfect it works on
Right.
with 2 guitars.
Yeah. Shall we get some Frankie's rolling here?
They do it.
And there's another guy that I have watched on YouTube. His name is Dan Vask, I think, and he does metal adaptations of all kinds of songs too. He's another great one. Boy, this is new. I haven't been on the show with Matt when he does this. This is great. No, I'm not matching his energy. Nobody can match his energy.
This is true.
I'm just gonna let him take this by himself. We're gonna play it out with just this.
I do. That's it. The whole thing is I look at myself and I think, this guy's an idiot. Yeah, what else for classical metal? Like, yeah, Jason Becker. And I love that where he'll just like, hit a drum note and the most
Right.
like beautiful song around it.
Right. That's the Tuesday edition of your show. Also, All Out Angst. I realized Gary told me to throw All Out Angst in here several times so that people know it's All Out Angst, and I completely forgot because we were having such a good conversation. It was a good one. I was like, I don't have any ideas for what we're gonna talk about for like half an hour, and then we just got rolling and it worked.
The music connection.
Yeah,
it was a
right?
good time.
It worked out. But I should hit it once more with the thingamajiggies. There we go. Email contact@dufferinav.com, and if that's too long for you, dufferinav.com. So sneaky.
Dragon likes me.
Well, of course he does. We gotta we gotta recreate that famous clip. That one did pretty well. Where he like you picked him up or something.
I
And
feel like I need to like start running a bit more. I don't want to like end up jacking up his back. But yeah. Well, yeah, you said like get on my back. And I don't know. I like just jumped right up on your shoulders. 'Cause, I don't know. Sometimes I have problems.
We'll end it there. We'll see you later. On your show.